The mysterious camera. One day, while wandering through an antique shop, a young photographer stumbled upon a mysterious camera. The camera was a bright silver color and covered with strange symbols. The seller didn't know its history and mentioned that it appeared in the shop one day out of nowhere. Excited, the photographer purchased the camera and headed home. He decided to take his first photograph and prepared the camera. After capturing the image, he examined the results. However, the photograph was no ordinary shot. It depicted a dark atmosphere in an old graveyard with only a single tombstone. These peculiar results intrigued him even more. The next day, he located the graveyard with the mentioned tombstone. However, there was a difference between the real location and the photograph. The tombstone bore his name. Frightened but curious, the photographer decided to take another shot. Each photograph brought him closer to a revelation. Each time, there was a slight difference. A shadow, a figure, or a mysterious trace. One day, the photographer realized the camera was becoming unusable. After each shot, the events that occurred in reality terrified him even more. When he reached the tombstone, he read his own name, and suddenly, the camera became soaked. The photographer understood he was being punished by a dark force. The camera wasn't a tool revealing the future. It carried a curse, showing his fears and his demise. After that day, the camera never worked again. However, the photographer's fears never left him. And sometimes when he felt a shadowy figure watching him, he believed that the photographs he took in that dark graveyard were still real. The Shadow by the Lake. In the darkness of the night, by the eerie shore of a silent lake just outside a town, where an old mansion stood tall, peculiar events began to unfold. The townsfolk started hearing strange sounds at night. Amidst the howling of the wind and the rustling of the trees, a mournful song of an odd woman echoed. However, when the townspeople claimed to have seen her, they insisted that she was a faceless ghost. Instead of eyes, there was only a dark void, and around her, there lingered a haunting sorrow. One night, a brave group of youngsters set out towards the old mansion. When the moon illuminated the sky, they saw a shadow gliding on the surface of the lake. The shadow sent shivers down the spines of the youngsters with every step. Yet, their curiosity and courage propelled them toward the mansion's door. The door creaked open silently, and as they stepped inside, the squeak of the old floorboards echoed through all the rooms. In a dark room beneath the stairs, a mournful song resonated again. This time, however, faceless figures emerged among the shadows, dancing with the woman's sorrowful melody. The youngsters watched in fear, unable to move or scream. In that moment, the melancholic song ceased, and an old mirror in the corner of the room revealed the truth to them. Their faces had become one with the woman's. Eyes, mouths, every detail matched their own faces. From that moment on, the youngsters one by one disappeared. No trace of them remained in the mansion by the lake. However, the old mirror still hung in that dark room, reflecting shadowy figures and faceless ghosts accompanied by the mournful song at night. The townspeople now steer clear of that mansion and the mysterious occurrences by the lake. Yet, amidst the howling wind, when the sorrowful song is heard, people believe that the dark secrets of that lake never fully surfaced, and that town continues to live under the deep shadow of the lake, haunted by an enduring fear. Dark Journey. In an old building on the university campus, on a gloomy and overcast day, a group of students finished their classes and headed towards the school bus. The bus, a quiet vehicle with only students aboard, was about to embark on a journey that would become the beginning of a nightmare. As the journey began, an unusual silence prevailed among the students. The sky rapidly darkened, and along the route, only gloomy forests and empty fields could be seen. The air inside the bus filled with an unsettling anxiety. At one point, as the bus driver was about to take a turn, the eyes of the students flickered for a moment. It was as if they had glimpsed something among the shadows outside. However, before they could comprehend what it was, the bus swiftly entered a dark forest. The paths within the forest narrowed, and the light diminished. The students exchanged worried glances, and the bus came to a halt. The engine ceased, and the vehicle fell silent in the darkness of the forest. Suddenly, the interior of the bus grew cold. As everyone looked around anxiously, they noticed a pale-faced figure emerging among the shadows. As the figure approached the students, a chill ran down their spines, and a collective scream echoed within the bus. Simultaneously, the bus roared back to life and swiftly exited the dark forest. However, the scenery this time opened up to an endless, desolate landscape. The road vanished into the vast emptiness. The students realized there was no settlement around. They found themselves in an entirely different world, but nobody knew when they would stop or where they were going. Over time, the students began to hear strange sounds inside the bus. Fearfully, they looked at each other, and amidst the shadows on the disappearing road, they understood that their dark journey would never come to an end. And from that day forward, the school bus never brought back any of the students. It was as if the vehicle had crossed it into another dimension and disappeared forever into the desolate wilderness. The tale of that ominous journey became a legendary memory in the minds of the townsfolk, and the bus might still be wandering in that desolate landscape among the dark shadows. Forgotten Echoes. Part 1. The Abandoned House. In a small, desolate town veiled in fog, an old and abandoned house stood as a haunting relic of a forgotten time. Locals spoke of chilling whispers that echoed through its crumbling halls, and the ghostly figures glimpsed from its shattered windows. Sarah, a curious young photographer, decided to unravel the mysteries concealed within its decaying walls. As Sarah entered the house with her camera in hand, the air thickened with an unspoken presence. The floors creaked beneath her every step, and shadows seemed to dance in the corners of her vision. She captured the eerie beauty of decay, but as she delved deeper, whispers grew louder, and unseen hands seemed to brush against her skin. Part 2. The University Enigma. Haunted by the images from the abandoned house, Sarah enrolled in a nearby university to study the town's history. Strange symbols and forgotten rituals led her to a secretive society within the university. The society claimed to possess knowledge beyond the realm of understanding. As Sarah delved into their forbidden archives, she unearthed a connection between the abandoned house and the university. The society, shrouded in darkness, warned Sarah of ancient malevolence awakened by her intrusion. Ignoring their pleas, she continued her quest for answers. Unexplainable occurrences haunted her every step, and her classmates whispered of her descent into madness. Part 3. The Asylum's Whispers. Sarah's relentless pursuit of the truth led her to the doors of an old asylum, hidden on the outskirts of town. In the decaying corridors, she encountered the tormented souls of those who had once sought forbidden knowledge. Murmurs of a malevolent force grew louder, and her sanity teetered on the edge. As Sarah delved deeper into the asylum's dark history, shadows manifested into tangible horrors. The spirits whispered ancient incantations, and the boundaries between reality and nightmare blurred. She became a vessel for the malevolent force, and the asylum echoed with her screams. Part 4. The Ancient Vault. Driven to the brink of madness, Sarah traced the threads of her obsession to an ancient underground chamber, a forgotten treasury rumored to house an unspeakable evil. Guided by spectral whispers, she unearthed the chamber's entrance hidden beneath the overgrown graveyard. As Sarah descended into the abyss, the air grew heavy with malevolence. In the heart of the chamber, she found an otherworldly artifact pulsating with dark energy. Unfathomable horrors materialized, and the boundary between the living and the dead shattered. Epilogue. The Eclipsed Town. The ancient force unleashed, shadows devoured the town, and forgotten echoes reverberated through the abandoned house, the university, the asylum, and the ancient vault. Sarah's fate intertwined with the malevolence she sought to understand, and the town became a desolate echo of its former self, a realm where nightmares whispered through the remnants of a once vibrant existence.